Hey everyone, it's Natalie. So yesterday I made a video about no contact and some of the stages you might go through. I forgot to put in the guilt that you feel. So today's video will be on the guilt you feel after going no contact. So I know when I was going through the stages at first of the no contact, right in the middle of those stages, I started to feel guilt. And I think the reason was because, these are my husband's parents and everything. But at the same time, I've also known them for two decades too. So basically, they were like a surrogate parent to me, even though they didn't treat me that way. And I think what happens is when you're in that stage of guilt, you might be thinking or daydreaming about the narcissist. You might be reminiscing about the good times, trying to decipher their messages or actions, talking to friends about the narcissist, looking at pictures of the narcissist, driving past places that remind you of the narcissist. I'm reading a list. Holding on to gifts and other objects that are linked to the narcissist, listening to music you associate with the narcissist, making excuses for the narcissist behavior, having mental conversation with the narcissist, revealing the painful moments, plotting a revenge against the narcissist, and fixating on the narcissist in any way. So when you're in that stage of guilt, basically all of those things are happening because, let's be real, not always was it horrible with the narcissist. This is how the narcissist, keeps on to you, attaches onto you, because there are moments in the relationship with the narcissist that they were actually kind of enjoyable. But you have to understand the narcissist also puts a fake persona on to the outside world in public, that everything in their family is going so perfect. Everything is just so wonderful. They couldn't have asked for a better family. This is what they try to perceive to the outside world, while behind the curtain, behind the closed door, they're actually really abusive people. And I think when you start feeling guilty about going no contact, you are reminiscing about the good times. Maybe you took vacations together. Maybe you spent holidays together that were decent. Maybe they were there when you had your first child. It could be a million things, right? Maybe they were a semi-decent grandparent. Maybe they were a semi-decent parent to your husband. But, however, even though the narcissist can maintain some normality in their life when it comes to their relationships, the truth is they only do that to deceive everyone else's eyes about who they truly are, what's really going on in the family dynamic. Because you have to understand that while they're abusing you, they're also going out and smearing you to these people that they are deceiving. And what that does is it convinces the outside world that the narcissist is actually a sweet person and the people inside the family are the problem. And so this is the way that the narcissist tries not to get caught in their own game, is by deception to everyone else that is looking in. And what I noticed is when we were having to be in front of family, church, maybe we took, vacations together, or we were out to eat, they would be in a very cheerful mood. They would be very hospitable, very welcoming, very loving. They might even put their arm around your shoulder. They might grab you and say something positive to you in front of people. But this is all to, it's a ruse to deceive the people that are looking into the narcissist family. These people also can use religion to deceive the public. And this is not the video on religion, but I'm just saying, I'm going to do a whole other video on that. But what they might also do is go to church, act like a very godly person, a God-fearing person, and then they might even expect you to, or guilt trip you into believing the same things that they believe. So that way everyone in that family dynamic looks perfect. And this deceives people in a way that when the narcissist does go and smear you, they believe them. But at the same time, in public, what the narcissist does is try to trigger you or antagonize you to get a reaction out of you. So that way they can turn to the public and say, see, remember I was smearing so-and-so? This is what I'm talking about. I'm perfect. They're not perfect. They're abnormal. And so even though on the outside they might be all cheery and stuff, at the same time, they are doing manipulative things to get the public to perceive that you are the problem. And this is also how they get away with their smear campaigns, because I know personally, if somebody came and started smearing someone to me, I'd literally probably ask them to stop, because it's not, I'm not into gossip. I don't like people talking badly of each other. And I think any normal person either will just listen and not say anything, or they'll ask that person to stop. But because the narcissist triggers you in front of the same people that they're smearing to, those people perceive that the narcissists have trouble at home and they need to talk to someone. So they don't perceive it as you're being abused and being triggered. They see it as, poor old lady has a daughter who is having outbursts and negative reactions to her, and I should really be there for the narcissist because they need someone to talk to. So this is how they manipulate the public to not look at them disgusting when they come and smear you. This is how they perceive, this is how they deceive those people they smear you to as, hey, I need someone to talk to. Can I please tell you what my daughter or son is doing? And they act like they're doing it to get advice from the other person. But the truth is, they're doing it to set you up. So that way later in the future, they can get a reaction out of you in front of the people they smeared you to. And then later on in the background, when you're not around, have that private phone conversation and say, this is what I'm talking about. You saw Natalie's reaction. I wasn't doing anything wrong. This is a big problem in my family. Ever since she came into my family, it's been nothing but hell. I mean, this is what they go and tell people. So I want you to remember that when you are guilt tripping yourself about the narcissist and good memories that you may have had, because if you really think about the good memories that you've had with these people, more than likely during those positive interactions with the narcissist, they actually were doing passive aggressive things. They were doing the things to make you look bad. And you probably did not react in front of the public's eye, because the narcissist has so much control over you that you knew better than to make the family look bad by having a negative reaction or talking back or saying anything to the narcissist about being passive aggressive or crossing boundaries. And so I want you to think like during those good times, they weren't really good, were they? Because even if you did have a good interaction with the narcissist, later on, behind closed doors, they are doing things and saying things about you to discredit your character to everyone that is associated with the narcissist and you. And if you sit there and feel like, well, maybe it's my problem. Maybe all of this happened because it was me. Maybe the narcissist is right. Maybe I'm the one that's causing all the disruptions in the family. And more than likely, when you're having those thoughts, it's because you've been a codependent and been a guardian for the narcissist for so long that the narcissist has convinced you that you're the problem. So when you go no contact and you start this guilt tripping that you do to yourself, you tend to start believing what the narcissist had told you in the past about how you're the problem. And because the narcissist always also has a support group surrounding them when you go no contact, because it's like this: you go no contact and nobody's on your side, right? But everyone is on the narcissist side, it feels like. And so you look at that and you say, well, I want no contact and no one is sitting in my corner for me. Everyone is sitting in the narcissist corner. So it must be my fault. Everyone is protecting the narcissist. No one's protecting me. I'm a lone ranger in this no contact. And so you start to convince yourself that maybe you were the problem because nobody is protecting you. No one's in your corner. But the truth is that the narcissist has been manipulating everyone that is in the narcissist corner for years, for decades. I mean, these people, the moment they can get a hold of someone and start manipulating them into believing that you're the problem. I mean, this continues the whole time that you're in a relationship with the narc and they're in a relationship with the narc. So they tend to back up what the narc is saying because they are manipulated by the narcissist. However, since you're not manipulated, or you were, or you're getting out of that manipulation scheme, you see everything very clearly. But because when you look at the bigger picture, you see all those people in the narc's corner, it really does tend to make you feel like maybe you have the problem. But I also want you to remember that the people in the narc's corner are their flying monkeys. So it's good and bad that you get to see this. What's bad about it is that if you're no contact and these people are associating with the narcissist, unfortunately, you have to go no contact with them. What's good about knowing who the flying monkeys are is that you can protect yourself and watch what you say to these people, because these flying monkeys, which I think is part of the guilt tripping, will come to you and try to talk or persuade you back into a relationship with the narcissist. And they'll say that the narcissist was said nothing but nice things, and that they miss you, and how could you do this to your mother or father, or why would you break up a happy home? I mean, it's just like numerous things. But what you don't know is, like, when the flying monkey comes and tries to talk to you about the reason why you go no contact or why there is a disruption in the family, what you don't know is if you pour your heart out to this family friend or family member, they're taking that information, going straight to the narcissist and telling the narcissist everything you said. So then what the narcissist does is they assess the situation to see what hoover technique is going to work on you and how serious you are about the no contact. Then they also take that information the flying monkey told them that you said, and they manipulate it and twist it into their favor, okay? And so when you go no contact, the stages that you go through, I think, either really make you sad, make you really depressed, can make you kind of in between, not knowing how you feel. It can make you really excited. It can be painful. And all these different stages, you have a different response psychologically and emotionally too. And so if you find yourself kind of lost thinking, well, maybe I should get back into contact with the narcissist because you guilt tripped yourself or whatever it is, don't act on that feeling, okay? That is because you're a good person, your brain works like this. Because you wouldn't do that to someone, and you would apologize, and you would accept apologies given, you think that you should be treating the narcissist as yourself. Like they're a good person too. Like you should give them a second chance. And a lot of people do. They break the no contact rule and they go right back into contact because they fell for the hoover. And that right there, once the narcissist hooks you back in, they're going to make you pay for it. At first, they're going to be really nice, but once they know they got you right back where they want you, the abuse is ramped up because how dare you go no contact, right? I read in an article that this one man went no contact with his ex-girlfriend 10 times, and she kept getting back in contact with him, and he kept falling for it. Now, another thing that could make you really beat yourself up and feel guilty is looking at old family photos, going and spying on them, on social media. You might be posting things that make you feel even guiltier with poems and how you feel and all of this. Well, I have one answer to that. You have to block everything that is pertaining to the narcissist on social media. And you also have to either, if it's your parents, you need to pack up all photos, any gifts, anything that reminds you of the narcissist, and put it in the attic. Or like I did, is I took everything that the narcissist has ever given me and I just threw in the trash. And the reason why I threw in the trash and I didn't donate it is because me personally, call me crazy, but I believe that these objects that the narcissist gives you have a negative energy attached to them. And I didn't want to curse somebody else with that object if they bought it at Goodwill or Salvation Army or something like that. I personally don't want to be held responsible for anyone getting a object or materialistic item and then being cursed with it. So you really need to think about the things that the narcissist has given you, because looking at pictures and gifts and things like that can guilt trip you back into contact with the narc, because you think, well, they were so nice to give me that gift. Or you look at a picture, that was such a good family, family day. And you start convincing yourself that maybe the narc can see that you're hurting and will wake up to the fact that they've been treating you bad, but they're not. They might act like it at first, and hardly ever will you get an apology from a narcissist. I know in 22 years, I've never gotten one. I have heard people doing faux apologies or false apologies. And what I've encountered with the people I've talked to with these false apologies is that they weren't sincere, and that it was just a way for the narc to get through the crack long enough to start their control again over that person, and that the apology never meant anything, that it was just a manipulation tactic to get back into their lives. And if you find yourself feeling like, I don't know, you kind of feel bad because as a good person, maybe you've never went no contact with anyone. But I can tell you that after, 22 years of, me guilt tripping myself in and out of this relationship with the narcissist, nothing ever got better. And matter of fact, always got worse. And that is due to the narcissist aging. The aging narcissist always gets worse with time, and nothing ever gets better. And so I want you to also, when you're guilt tripping yourself, I also want you to exercise your memories of the horrible things that they've done to you, and I want you to journal them. That way, when you find yourself guilt tripping, you can go back in the journal and read what you wrote down, because it's so very important to remind yourself of these horrible scenarios that the narcissist has put you through. So that way the guilt and shame you might be, or blame you might be feeling, can be redirected back towards the narcissist, because now you're exercising these negative memories that you have, because the negative memories will always outweigh the positive memories with the narcissist. And so if you find yourself in that, place of guilt tripping, you need to really think about what they've done to you, and you really need to think about not reacting to that emotion. Because I know it is normal for us to kind of go off of our emotions, especially empaths. But when you're dealing with somebody like this, you're basically dealing with the psychopath, okay? It is an antisocial disorder. And these people they're not normal like we are. They're not like you and I. And so you can't look at these people like they're a normal individual, because they're not. They just, they're emotionless. And anytime that you've ever seen a narcissist cry, laugh, joke, acting normal, that's all phony. See, what they do is they copy other people's emotions, and then they, because they're copying them, act out those copied emotions to convince people they are normal. And the narcissist does this because they know that they're not normal, and they know that they don't have those same emotions that other people do. So they study people and watch people's emotions, so that way they can reenact those emotions at the appropriate time. Because over time, what happens is the narcissist realizes that some of their behaviors and emotions are inappropriate. So they will mimic other people to fool you and make it seem like they're good people when they're not. And the other thing that you might do is that when you go no contact, you want to convince yourself that these people are going to wake up that they hurt you. You want to convince yourself that after a month or two of no contact, man, these people have changed. Or even a year after contact, these people have had to have changed. It's been a year. But they don't. And you have to exercise that mentality that these people aren't going to change. It's unfortunate, but it is a personality disorder. It is an antisocial disorder. You cannot change this. No matter how much you want to fix this person, you have to accept the reality that you were given, and you have to start having an attitude that you don't really care anymore. Like, these people can't affect you anymore, even when they are affecting you. So having this type of mentality of whatever, I don't care, what it is that you're practicing that mentality at first. And over time, you start to convince yourself of the truth, because at first you're not convinced who the problem was. But you're the victim. There's nothing that you did wrong. And when you finally come to terms with knowing that these people can't be helped, and knowing that these people will never be normal like you emotionally and psychologically, when you accept that, then you will stop guilt tripping yourself and start looking at them like the monster they are. And this is kind of the last, then you go on to the last stage. And that stage is just not caring anymore. That stage is practicing the mentality of, I don't care. because normal people care about others. And it's just, because we we are empathetic people, we tend to make mistakes with the narcissist. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times going back in and out of contact. But if you notice through however many times you've done this, nothing ever got better. And there's a reason why you've been no contact 5 and 6 and 10 times. So I want you to focus on that and realize that there is a reason. There's a reason why you are no contact. There was a reason why you went no contact the first 5 times. And I want you to really think about, in between those no contacts, what happened during that stretch of time with the narcissist. Why did you go no contact for the 4th time, for the 5th time? Why? Because there was no changes made to the way that they treated you. Right? So remember that. And you start approaching the situation like, there's nothing I can do, and I'm going to live my life to the fullest any which way I want. Because the narcissist, what also happens is they want you to stay in that guilt state, that guilt tripping state. Because they want you to feel like you're the problem here. They want you to be miserable. And the reason why they do that is because, believe it or not, they are getting supply knowing you are miserable. They love it when you're down and out. And if you want to stop feeding the narcissist, then you live the best life you can. And you stop guilt tripping yourself over the past. And that guilt is so hard to get over, especially when it is your parent, or especially if it's your spouse's parent, because everyone involved is just kind of like sad, except the narcissist, even though they pretend to be. You're just kind of like, God, I can't believe this is how life ended up. How did life get here? And it's because you're guilt tripping yourself or making excuses for the way the narcissist has handled the family dynamic. You had no control over the narcissist and how the family ended up in this position. The narcissist is the one that had the control over this whole scenario. And that was the major problem, is that no one could be their self. No one could love each other normally. No one could say what they wanted. No one could have their own opinions or decisions. No one could have their own girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, whatever it was, because the narcissist, they will never let go of those reins of their family. The only way to get out of that is going no contact. And that means nothing. That means, and I just said this to Joy the other day, that means if you live in the same town and you get a flat tire, you live in the same town of the narcissist, and you get a flat, you better call AAA. You don't call the narcissist for no reason. This is no contact, because if you're in that state of like guilt tripping yourself and you end up getting a flat tire because you're already under that duress of the flat tire being abandoned on the side of the road, that you can actually convince yourself, because you've been guilt tripping yourself, that the narcissist will come and be your savior. You don't want a narcissist to be your savior. You will be owing them for the rest of your life. And so if you find yourself in predicaments where you think only the narcissist can help you, you better call someone else. I don't care if you have to pay for it. I don't care what you do. But you never, ever get in contact with the narcissist while you're guilt tripping yourself of no contact. This is exactly what they want you to do. They want you to be in this guilt tripping stage. So if a little hiccup happens in your life, you will go sprinting back to the narcissist for safety. And it's not safe there. Okay, so and the other thing is, I think the reason why you guilt trip yourself like that is because you're fixating on the narcissist. And that, what I call the hamster wheel of the fantasy and reality, are fighting with each other. And that fantasy is arguing with reality. No, this is the way it's supposed to be. But reality is saying to the fantasy, well, this is the way it was. This is the way it is. And sometimes that fantasy can override, can kick that reality's butt, which brings you back into contact. So watch yourself and don't make any moves when you're feeling guilt, like you're guilt tripping yourself or you're down and out or whatever it is. Don't react to that emotional outburst or psychological outburst or whatever it is. You literally need to sit with those thoughts, write them down, speak to a counselor, a therapist, a life coach, whoever it is, about how you feel. Call a friend. Talk to a friend about it. Talk to other people that have went through similar situations. Join support groups like mine. Do things that are going to help that guilt tripping stage. Do things that are going to also help that stage where you are just pissed off at the narcissist. Because staying angry is not a way to heal either. And I know in some of my videos I'm all riled up. Maybe it does seem like I'm angry, but the truth is, I'm not angry. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Last Friday, this is the first time we've had Zoom in 2 months. And I hadn't been sleeping well because of my CPTSD. And I have insomnia. But for the last week after Zoom on Friday, the last 6 days, I've slept like a baby. So being able to express your frustrations, listen to other people, stories, their hurt, what they're struggling with, only strengthens you mentally. And so when you find yourself in this state of just whatever it is, anger or guilt or confusion, you need to surround yourself with a support group. So anyway, I hope this video helps. It's really for one particular person. I think he knows who he is. He's going through it and he's having a lot of trouble staying no contact with his parents. He's feeling guilty. And he's the victim. And that's what the narcissist does. And that's also why they hire these flying monkeys. So the flying monkeys will come into your life and continuously make you feel guilty until you make contact again. See, the flying monkeys don't understand that the narcissist is playing them. She has hired them for a particular reason. And it is to guilt trip you back into the arms of the narcissist so they can have their safe supply again. Don't fall for it. You have to cut off all contact. And it's going to be hard to cut off contact with brothers and sisters or whoever's in the family, maybe even family friends, because at one time maybe you did have a really good relationship with them and maybe you thought you could trust them. But you know what? I made that mistake with my brother-in-law. And it didn't turn out pretty. Let's just put it that way. The last time I talked to him, he was screaming at me through text, saying to get the F out of his family, and nobody wanted me in their family. And I thought, this is someone I've grown up with the last 22 years. We're basically the same age. We hung out in high school. I thought I could trust him. And I also, even my husband thought that silently he understood what was going on. But now my husband and I see that he was the one that was continuously going and telling the narcissist what me and Jared were doing. So now my husband has a very strained relationship with his brother because his brother is the golden child and fell for the narcissist BS. So you have to watch out for the people in there, and remember, you're the victim. Peace, love, and harmony. See you at Zoom tonight at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.